For today's video, I want to talk about LP Agent for Meteora. I'm sure many of you are already familiar with it, or if you're not, you might have seen some screenshots of people clicking on wallets and showing their performance and using their extremely powerful portfolio feature. But today I want to be going over some of the other features which they have, also their Smart LP, which is currently in a closed beta, and how if you wanted you can utilize this, and how their copy LP works. These are some really powerful features, and I will also show some of the settings I have been looking at when using their Smart LP feature to find the best performing wallets and weed out even the ones which look like they're very green but are actually not good to follow at all. So looking at the docs, it already covers a lot of what we know. They are an AI powered DeFi tool for Meteora. So they have their AI agent. You can ask it questions, what kind of pools are good, ask it questions about how DLMM works, show it your positions, quite a lot of functionality right there. I personally don't use this feature too much. I'm, like many others, am mainly focused on the Smart LP feature, looking at wallets, and also I have dabbled with their Copy LP feature, which I can speak about today as well. So looking at the coolest features on LP Agent, obviously looking at wallets is extremely useful, and there's a lot of information we can get about wallets from this. At the moment of recording, there isn't really a better tool to be able to get a visualization of what a wallet's performance is and actually look at their positions, which you definitely want to be doing for the wallets which you're looking at. So just looking at this example, you can see good uptrend. They have a variety of positions. They don't invest too much per position, and them using bid-ask, which are all things which we mainly want to look for when copy LPing. So I think I'm going to have to select a different wallet because I was actually using their new beta Smart LP feature where you can't actually see the past positions, which is quite important. But for this wallet and all wallets is, if we go over the few key metrics, of course you have their total wallet balance. This is not what they're necessarily investing, it's just what is in their wallet. Very important to look at all these metrics as well. We've got the total closed positions. So if this is a very low number, to be honest, even 50, 100, this is considered quite a low number. The more positions they have, the more days they've made positions across, the more consistent you can try and infer that that user probably is, which is very important to consider with the other factors with regards to win rate and profitability. Win rate is interesting to look at because most wallets you look at will all have over a 50% win rate, but some could be massively profitable only going up, and some could be very shaky and just going up and down and even be in a loss. Even if this number is high at, let's say 70% in an extreme example, that wallet could actually be unprofitable, as small percentage wins can mean that, and then one big loss will mean that its overall win rate is high, but the actual wallet was unprofitable. The next important things to look at are the average invested and the fees earned total profit. So average invested, obviously they will have a total balance. Maybe they do have 500 Solana, but if the average invested is a lot lower, maybe 5, 10, 15, you can use this information to decide when you want to copy and also combine it with the amount of open positions that wallet typically has at a time, as to whether this is something which you would be able to copy with one of the bots. So when looking at the fees earned and total profit, we can see in this case the ratio between fees earned and total profit. So if fees earned and total profit were a 1-to-1 ratio, so for example, they had earned 1,000 Solana in fees and 1,000 Solana in total profit, that means they'd only been doing one-sided Solana, and every time they made a position, they had every single time, they had no impermanent loss basically. So it had gone down their range, back up, and they had exited at the perfect time. And so no impermanent loss. But in this kind of ratio where it's about 1-to-4, which is a very strong ratio, you can see a lot where they might have made 100 Sol in fees and only made 10 Sol profit, or even less, and even negative. But when we see a ratio like this, it's quite a strong indicator of what kind of trades they're doing. So we're actually able to build off this with the Smart LP feature. If I do click over to here, and it's something I like to look at, you can see the fees earned and the total profit. So there is scenarios where the total profit is higher than the fees earned. And when this is the case, you know that is a wallet which is either going 50-50 or yeah, they're buying tokens of some sort. They might just be buying the tokens, but they're using DLMM, not necessarily just to generate fees, but also to help them trade. So I generally don't look into the average monthly profit too much, as I'm not quite sure how it is calculated. But as you see, looking at all these metrics, it's easy to look at them and just think they're all green numbers. I want to copy that wallet. But you really have to think about what kind of trades they're doing, what size the trades are, what kind of ratios they have. And LP Agent it's fairly accurate. They do, I think, have their own API, but you should still manually verify some positions as well. So scrolling down to just looking at current open positions, we can see the size of them, we can see how old they are, we can get a ton of information, uncollected fees, the unrealized profit and loss, so the overall position. So we can see 1.5 Sol in fees here, but overall this position is down because it looks like it has dropped out of range. But this one, which I guess is a range, you can see set just below it, probably a bid-ask curve or spot, is actually massively profitable. So I can click on one of these positions and get instantly an exact summary of what it looks like with deposit and position. So we can see this was a spot position, and we can see the balance was when it was added was all Solana, but it looks like it has fallen out of range and it has just been left open, probably for the user hoping for a pump. And it's a pretty similar story for the historical positions. If I scroll down, I can see a list of this particular user's positions which they've previously made. I can see, roughly what their profit and loss was on these positions. And I can click on them, see the deposit. And what you can do is you can copy the transactions and verify them in a tool such as Metlex in the P&L DLMM tab. So that's probably enough theory. What I'll do is I will try and find a wallet using the Smart LP feature and go over some which might look good, but are actually probably not the best to copy. Some which hopefully we can find one which is good as well. And I will try and copy it. I would put a few more Solana on and just see if we are able to grow our balance at all, just using this feature. So this is currently in beta, and I do believe to get access, you do need to have deposited 2 Solana onto the platform and made over 5 Solana of copy trade positions already. Then you can go in the Discord and request access. And I will say, it doesn't just give you all of the best wallets automatically. Going on chain and looking for different pools, going on GMGN is the best way. This is just an extra tool which you might want to use. So it looks like literally a few hours ago I recorded that last clip. They actually added a new minimum average position age, which, thinking over probably isn't too useful because, you could open a lot of positions and close them instantly because you weren't in range, and a few of them do go in range. And that's why sometimes averages aren't the best thing to use. But we do have obviously a few filters. Ideally, we would have a filter for every single column and we could customize whatever we want with them, not just a minimum, but also a maximum could be quite useful as well for getting these ratios we want. But generally what I have found is if you are going to use these filters, there isn't like a perfect set of filters. For example, you could, having a minimum profit, a minimum fees earned, a minimum total positions open can be quite useful for looking at wallets, but generally you just want active wallets and you kind of just have to manually scan through them, and there is only one page, so you're just gonna have to play around a bit, put some values in here. But you can definitely up this number, but we can kind of look over a few. So we want the last active, we don't want ones that were active a week ago, for example. But you can look at these, just look over the columns and understand what they all mean now. So I mean, just looking at this guy, clearly got a very low balance, 2.46 in fees, most profit, average invested quite low, open 600 positions, which isn't actually a lot of positions, decent win rate and average age. Click onto that wallet. But looking at it, even though they're using a criminally low balance, you can see that they have actually turned over quite a lot of profit. And this is to do with the features of their Smart LP, as well as you can't actually see the wallet address. It is encrypted. This is a encrypted address. But what you can do is actually see a breakdown of their positions in this nice graph, which you don't actually get with the normal wallets, which is actually quite a nice feature. because you can see they've made a lot of positions, which is really good. It means they can be consistent over a long period of time with only a few losers. And again, trying to find wallets which have aggressive profits starting with 1 Solana and trying to copy a wallet which you think will 10x your balance instantly is not what copy LPing is really for, in my opinion. You should probably have better luck just manually DLMMing to do that. You are just trying to find consistent winners. And yeah, also, as I've said, consider your own balance when looking for the wallets to copy, as I think finding a wallet which trades with a similar size or ratio to you, what you're wanting to do, is one of the most important things. And finally, before I do find a wallet to copy trade, you can find interesting ones where you can see the total profit 9 Solana, fees earned 6 Solana, because I've ordered by fees earned. You can see not many positions, so this is a completely fresh wallet. And we also have this average invested of 4. This could be something interesting. And you find a lot of wallets which look like this, very green straight away. But if you try to copy this wallet, I can almost guarantee that you will just hit a really big red day very soon, and this just happens all the time. There's a bunch of wallets which double their value very quickly in a few days. You might be able to find them, but when you do start copying, it's very easy to take a loss. I'm not saying they will all the time, and maybe you can find a good one, but very often you will incur a loss. And also, wallets which make a lot of positions are generally not advised for something like this, as you know, you have to work out your ratios a lot on percentages, and it's very easy for you to maybe miss some positions and not copy them exactly. Now, when it comes to copying wallets, and this is actually the same across many bots where, you know, you have these percentage and you can set take loss and stop loss and take profit. For LP Agent, I would disable these. I would set limit position, and for these copy percentage, you're going to want to look at their balance, your balance, and what they're averaging in their position. So I can see 2 Solana, 2.3, I can see they have 7.5. So I have about 50% of their balance. So for positions, I want to enter 50%. So when he enters with 2 Solana, I enter with 1 Solana, most likely. For max position size, I can see he's got some 2.39s there. So I'm going to put 1.25. And of course, all of this isn't perfect. Ideally, I would probably want to maybe up this a bit, because if he does enter with 5 Solana, I've got this max 1.25. I'm not copying with a 50% limit. So maybe you might want to remove that or up it a lot. And for the label, I quite like to try and have a bit of a standardized label. So having their average invested, their total profit, their win rate, all kind of listed out like this kind of. So I'll put 5.7 average, 61% win rate, and then 7.5 SOL balance. And you can go on, maybe have your own custom label if you're stacking a lot of wallets and want a way to quickly identify what they were kind of trading like. And honestly, that's pretty much everything about the tool. They have recently implemented some features to stop you getting rugged. I think some kind of token score or rug checker, so someone you're copying can't drain the liquidity from you. So I'm not quite sure the inner workings of it, because I know with Sol Decoder, obviously you can customize your rug filters, which is quite useful. I think would be good across all bots as well. And I'll have a video out on that one soon. And I do believe to actually sign up to the copy trading, the wallet, you do have to use a referral code, I believe. I think it's required. And I think I can use 3 uses a day, but I'm sure in the comments or in the Discord, you'll be able to find more codes as well. But my code is right here and it will be in the description. It has no functionality.